Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here. It's time for more Modern Horizons 3. Spoilers, unfortunately, nothing was as cool as the Shrekmobile from the last episode, but, I put it in the thumbnail anyway. And yes, it is being driven by Harambe. So let's just jump in with Primal Prayers, a new energy card. Those are always interesting. This is one of the most interesting among them because it's a 4-cost green enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield you get 2 energy, then you may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less by paying 1 energy rather than paying their mana costs. If you cast a spell this way, you may cast it as though it had flash. And then I guess they just forgot to put you could only do this once per turn? So you can just drop this in and immediately 3 cost for free. Like, not even in an energy deck. So not quite to the level of Collected Company, but pretty darn close. And in an energy deck, my gosh, I mean, you're going to run out of cards at some point, but geez. I believe the green card is called Life's Legacy, where you sack a creature and draw cards equal to its mana value or toughness or something. Yeah, put those together. Do I think people are going to adopt energy decks after this? I'd like to say no, but Modern Horizons are historically very, very format pushing and deck favoring, so we'll see. Next up, Kozilek's Command, except I had to translate it. Thanks, Watsy, appreciate that. Brand new card, and you might remember all the dragon commands from back in the day, so anything with the word command in it, you gotta, your ears perk up there, because they're usually pretty darn powerful, and this is quad modal, and you get to choose 2. So command cards are like kind of one tier above charm cards. I'm not going to get into the whole history. Let's just read it. So it's colorless, like true colorless, times 2. So look up colorless mana. I'm not going to explain it here. And then X in generic. So choose 2. Target player creates X01 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens with sacrifice this creature, add 1 colorless to your mana pool. And then 2 is target player scries X, then draws a card. 3, exile target creature with mana value equal or less than X, and 4, exile up to X target cards from graveyards. So, I mean, if you had a multimodal Swiss Army Kozilek's card, I guess, yeah, this is pretty much what you'd expect out of it. I love that all 4 of them are X. That is just crazy. If you're playing like a colorless deck revolving around Eldrazi or Kozilek, yeah, you're going to be jacking up the mana to ridiculous levels. So expect these to be, very high X values. Next up, we got Ashling, Flame Dancer, another foreign card. Thanks for that, Watsy. I think I prefer Leaks at this point. But hey, it's a 4-cost double red legendary creature elemental shaman, and you don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. Hello. And then Magecraft whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, because everybody just loves that mechanic so much. Discard a card, then draw a card. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. And if it's the third time, add 4 red mana to your mana pool. Need I remind you, you don't lose unspent mana as steps and phases end. I think the rule is at the end of turn you lose them. I'd have to see a ruling if this is a brand new card, but I'm pretty sure it works that way. But still, this is like Red Rush Advanced Edition, Red Winds kinda, but with like a little bit of mid-range, so that's cool. But I mean, it could just be really, really obnoxious Storm. You guys know, it's the only color I don't tend to play, and I just don't like red. It's so boring. It's so one note. It's just Blood Moon, just get that out of here. I hate it. Next up, brand new card, Necro Dominance. I could have sworn this was already a thing, I guess not, but a lot of these are kind of like in-place upgrades for really similar versions of them, which is kind of a cheap, stupid way to slip in a better card and force people to buy it. So it's a 3-cost, 3 out of 3, triple black legendary enchantment. Black and blue are the 2 colors, debatably, that are most benefited by Devotion, the Theros mechanic. And one of my all-time favorite mechanics, so this could be something. So skip your draw step, and then at the beginning of each end step, that's right, end step, you may pay any amount of life. If you do, draw that many cards. I swear there's a card like identical to this and I can't place it. Your maximum hand size is 5. And if a card or token would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So no graveyard shenanigans if you play this. So you're gambling on the one shot, and at the end of turn, so if you're not playing instant speed heavy, you're just going to have to deal with the result until, well, the start of your next turn, and then also the end of your next turn to draw some new cards if you don't go heavy enough. To me, this just seems like, okay, more kill spells. I've seen people complaining a little bit initially about really high-end decks in like Legacy and Vintage, Modern, that kind of thing being benefited from this, which... Look at the name of the set. Look at what the last two did to Modern, just saying. Hogak was a mistake. And I've heard reference to somewhere there's an article explaining why this card isn't completely and utterly broken, which means it absolutely is if they felt the need to justify it. So can't wait to see this get banned. Don't invest in it. Next up, Phyrexian Tower, another brand new card here, Legendary Land. You can tap it for colorless, true colorless, and then if you tap it, sack a creature and add 2 black mana to your mana pool. So if you want to cosplay as the Phyrexians, but you still want to be a goth version of them, this is your card and this is your deck, this is your archetype. Next up, Birthing Ritual, which another one where I swear to God this already existed, but I guess it's something, was it Birthing Pod or Evolution, something, whatever, who cares, I don't play this. So it's a 2-cost green enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature, look at the top 7 cards of your library, then you may sacrifice a creature that you own currently. If you do, you may put a creature card with mana value X or less from among those cards that you just popped off the top of your library onto the battlefield, where X is 1 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. They're already selling this card at $40 because they know damn well what it is. Now, this may seem like an attractive card initially because there have been really famous, expensive, highly played cards that do something similar in the past. But remember, the rug's been pulled out from underneath a bunch of popular archetypes right now. I mean, okay, shake up the format's cool, but unfortunately that was done in Standard. So trickle down, trickle up, whatever you want to say. But now we're dealing with this overpowered crap in Standard. So right now it's just counter dump and just mana ramp normally. You can get mana just for free. They're giving it out like it's candy at a parade. So sack a creature and go +1. I've got a better idea. Don't do that and just cast giant creatures out of your hand with a bunch of ramp crap that can't be stopped. I mean, there's that one card, was it Unclaimed Territory or whatever? It untaps all of your lands at your end step. Won't really help you cast a creature without flash, but luckily green now has flash and haste and flying and a bunch of other color pie breaking crap they never should have had. So actually, I legitimately don't think this card is that good. I think people think it's that good, but I think they're wrong. So next up we got Invert Polarity, which represents everything wrong with the game right now. It's 2 blue + 1 red, instant, choose target spell, then flip a coin. If you win the flip, gain control of that spell, and you may choose new targets for it. If you lose the flip, counter that spell. You cast a card and don't know what it's going to do. You are relying on luck to do whatever effect is more beneficial at the time instead of making a decision or building your deck correctly or making a scry decision correctly or anything that involves experience, skill, logic, outplaying your opponent, like remembering what they're running, knowing the meta if you're a competitive player, out cheating them or having your team scout or use illegal hand signals. Whatever you did to actually quote unquote earn your way to where you are at, that's skill, that's good. And Magic said, or WotC said at one point, we're moving away from anything involving luck. They said they want to get as many modal spells out there so that you're making as many decisions as possible in as short of a time as possible so that you're in control, and the more skilled player making the more like wise decisions wins the game instead of, oh look, I drew the card I needed or I didn't. That is almost a direct quote from a staff member at WotC who said we are going to make that our new design philosophy moving forward. And then we get this crap where you just flip a coin. Flipping a coin is the opposite of that. You were relying entirely on luck. I get it, you're paying 2 blue + 1 red, okay, so 2 blue, a 3-cost 2 blue spell to disrupt a spell, and then 50% of the time something cooler might happen. Okay, just run redirect because then the spell doesn't exist anymore. And you might say, oh, but what if it's not a targeted spell? Yeah, in this case, what if it's not a targeted spell? Well, congratulations, you now control the board wipe and it's still board wipes. There's summoning a creature or planeswalker. You changed the, no. So 50% of the time you get a counterspell that does nothing and you're paying full price for it. This is idiotic. It is completely pointless. And I guess it's for like, haha, fun, chaotic commander, but like, as far as card design, this is garbage. They threw all the safeguards and all the little things they've been doing lately out the window in favor of, I don't know, if you think people will buy it, just print it. Who cares about the health or the safety or comfortable power levels or players being happy or having the right type of player in the community? Throw it all out the window if we can get, 1 penny more in sales. Absolute disgrace. Next up, Recruiter of the Guard. Now, what could this be based off of? I wonder. So, 3-cost white human soldier creature 1/1 cool. When it enters battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with toughness 2 or less, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Cool, let's read Imperial Recruiter real quick. When Imperial Recruiter enters the battlefield, search your library for a card power 2 or less, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. That's weird. That's the same damn card. Okay, toughness 2 or less, power 2 or less. Also, Imperial Recruiter is a red card. Now, I should remind you that it is formerly a $60 card up until recently, and now it's an $11 card. Also, Imperial Recruiter was in Modern Horizons 2. And Portal 3K, by the way. And Masters 25 and Double Masters. Oh, I wonder why it's $11. But seriously, if you want a card, it should be affordable. I don't think any card should be above $20 unless it's a special edition, special trim, limited, whatever, serialized, special foil. I don't care what they do with it. Mark Rosewater himself could sign damn thing, sell it for $1,000. As long as people can afford to play the damn game and build the decks they want to build. Otherwise, you're not going to have a game. You're not going to have customers. Don't force out the budget players, especially in a bad economy. They are making every mistake they possibly could. So luckily, because of their own greed, let's be honest, it's not to actually fix this problem. They are reprinting the hell out of anything expensive. And there's a lot of $30 to $40 reprints in this set so far that I'm not even covering yet. Because the new cards are more interesting. But yeah, this is a one and done. I don't think it's as good as people think. I think recursive would be better. But if you can go grab something with 2 toughness that has massive attack or some crazy ability, and you just get it for free with this, you're basically playing with 8 of them. It goes to your hand, not into play. So, it's still burning 3 mana. But I don't know. This is still an interesting card. Next up, very interesting new land cycle here. This is Monumental Henge. I think that might be a translation error because, Asian language, who knows. Regular ass land, and it enters tapped unless you control the plains, and then taps for white. So we've, I think, seen single type check lands, but guess what? It's a strictly better in-place upgrade that you now feel obligated to buy if you own the weaker version of it. I wonder if there's a marketing and sales strategy behind that. It's just dirty. This is so low. I mean, run both, but still. So you pay 2 and 2 white, so 4 total, tap it. Look at the top 5 cards in your library. You may reveal a historic card from them, which is Artifact Legendary Saga. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Oh, and then put the one you choose in your hand, obviously. I mean, yeah, it's 4 mana, but on a recurring basis? Damn. So, like I said, there's some mediocre reprints, whatever. There's some high-end ones. I don't care. They're not as exciting. I didn't really cover them. I'm only really covering the rares and mythics anyway. And even some of those are kind of boring. So they kind of pumped the brakes a little bit over the holiday weekend, I think, because, this would require them to do work. Not even day of. I don't really just mail it to the people, but I don't know, whatever. But hey, there's more to come. We aren't seeing them all. So subscribe if you want to see more coverage of these and get the real story on them. And I'll see you guys next time.